Lesson 67% of change. So what are percent of change problems? These are problems that have an increase or a decrease in the percent from the total. And so you can set them up by using a ratio box, or you can use proportions using the new percent. So if you use a ratio box, it will be something similar to what you see here. We have one column that's dealing with percent, the other one dealing with the actual count. And then you have three rows: the original, the change in percent, and then the new percent. What are you actually paying? So let's take a look at an example here using the ratio boxes. It says Donna bought a dress at 30% off, a sale for $42. What was the original price of the dress? So we need to find the actual cost here. The change is a 30% decrease, so you're taking 30% off. That means you're paying 70% of the actual dress, and the sales price was $42. So 70% of the original was $42. So now I can use this top box and this bottom box to form my ratios. So I have 100 is to 70 as n is to 42. Now to make this a little bit easier, I can simplify here. I can divide a 10 off on both sides, the numerator and denominator, and I have 10 is to 7 as n is to 42. I know that 7 times 6 will give us 42. Therefore, 10 times 6 will give us our n. N would have to equal $60. So the original cost of the dress would have been $60. The second problem, the median price of a whole house in a neighborhood rose 20% in 1 year to $288,000. By how many dollars did the median price increase? So it increased 20% in 1 year to $288,000. That means the new price is $288,000. And I can, since it's a change, it rose in 20%. This is 120%. I need to find out how many dollars did the median price increase. So I'm going to put an I here because I'm trying to find the increase. So I'm going to use the bottom four boxes. So I have 20 over 120, the same as I over 288,000. And again, I can simplify, divide a 10 here, and then I can divide, actually I can divide 20. Divide by 20 here would give me 1. 120 divided by 20 would give me 6. So now I have 1 is to 6 as I is to 288,000. So if I take 288,000 and I divide that by 6, I get 4,800 or 48,000. So 6 times 48,000 will give us 288,000. That means 1 times 48,000 will give us the increase. So the increase would be 48,000. So the median price increased $48,000 in that example. Next example, an item with the regular price of $15 is discounted 30%. What is the sale price? So the regular price, so the original is $15. It's discounted, that means it's off 30%. What is the actual sales price? The new price, so 100 minus 30 is 70. So I'm going to use the top and bottom. So 100 is to 70 is the same as 15 is to n. Again, I can simplify dividing by 10. So now it's 10 divided by 7. So now cross multiply. So I have 10n equals 7 times 15. 7 times 15 would be 105. Divide by 10 on both sides. The new price would be $10.50. Make sure you're careful with that one, because if you just do 105 divided by 10, you will get 10.5. Just remember, this is dealing with money, so make sure you put that 0 at the end, make it 50 cents. Next one, a shopkeeper buys an item for $25 and marks up the price 80% to sell in the store. What is the store price? They buy for $25. They mark it up, so that's an increase of 80%. That means the new price is 180% more. And we want to find out what is the store price, which is the new price. So I'll put N right here. So I'm going to use 80 over 180. It's the same as, actually I'm not going to use the 80 because I need to use the 100 because I know what the original cost was. So $25 over N. And I can simplify here, divide 10 here, and then I can divide 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So I have 5/9 equal to 25. I know 5 times 5 gives me 25, so 9 times 5 will give me N. N would have to equal $45. So the store price would be $45. Next two problems. Lillian saves $12 buying a rug on sale for $36. The sale price of the rug was 12. What percent of the regular price? So she saves $12 buying a rug on sale. So it's a change of $12. It's on sale for $36, so that's the new cost. What percent of the regular price was it? So the regular price, so to sell this one, we need to know what the actual cost was. So if I add straight up, I would get, actually subtract the, actually add straight up, you would get 8, so $48 was the original amount, and save $12 and only spent $36. So we need to know what was the sales price, the sale percent. So I need to find P here. So I'm going to have 100 over P is the same as 48 over 36. And then here I can simplify a little bit. So I can divide 48 by 6. So divide this by 6 and I get 8. 36 divided by 6 give me 6. Then I can divide this by 2. This will give me 4. Divide this by 2. That gives me 3. So now I have 100 over P. It's the same as 4 over 3. Now I can easily cross multiply. I get 300 equals 4P. Get P by itself. I divide by 4. I take 300, divide by 4, and that gives me 75. So P would be 75%. And problem D, the town's population increased from 80,000 to 90,000 in 10 years. So this is 80,000 to 90,000. What was the percent of increase? So we're looking for this piece. So we know that it gained 10,000. To find this, I'll just choose this as the change. So 100 over C is the same as 80,000 over 10,000. And I'm going to simplify here. The zeros all cancel off. And now I have 100 over C equals 8 over 1. Cross multiply, I have 100 equals 8C divided by 8 on both sides. So I have 100 divided by 8. That would give me 12.5. So C would be 12.5. So 12.5%. And the last two questions. An item, a $15 item on sale for $12 is marked down what percent? So 100% would be $15. Sales price would be $12. We want to find out the percent that it was marked down. So this is a difference of 3. So now we need to find what percent was it marked down. So I'm going to use P right here. So 100 over P is the same as 15 over 3. And I can simplify this, divide this by 3. So this would be 5 over 1. So now I have 100 over P equals 5 over 1. If I go in reverse, I know 5 times 20 gives me 100. So 1 times 20 would give me my P. P would have to be 20% marked down. And the last one, if Jenna buys an item for 40% off the regular price, will she pay more or less than half price? So for this one is just duplicated, so we don't need to worry about this one. Let's create a ratio box. So 100% is up here. It's saved 40% off, so it's a minus 40%, which makes this a 60%. And she saves $20. And that part, I forgot to put the $20 in there. So she saves. So this one, it should say it saves $20. So put the $20 in there. And now I need to fill in the other boxes. So what was, if Jenna buys an item for 40% off the regular price, will she pay more or less than half the price? So we need to find what the original price was. So I have 100 over 40. It's the same as n over 20. I can simplify. 4 times 5 gives us 20. So 10 times 5 will give us n. So this is 50. That means she's paying 50 minus 20 is 30. So she's paying $30. $30 is more than half price. That answer would be more than half percent, or more than half off that she would pay. But this last one here, what if I put the $20 in here? Well, let's look at what, I misread the question here. It says if Jenna buys an item for 40% off, will she pay more or less than half price? So if it's 40% off, that means it's 50, she's paying 60%. So 60% is more than half. If Jenna buys an item for 40% of the regular price, will she pay more or less than half price? So if it's 40% of the regular price, so 40% of means times the regular price, that would be the sales price. Will she pay more or less than half? For that one, she would pay less than half. And it would be less than half the price because 40% of it is less than 50%. And the difference between the top problem and the bottom problem is 40% off. That means you're actually paying 60%. 40% of the regular price just means you're only paying 40% of the total, which is really going to be less than 50%. That was our lesson today on percent of change.